Hey everyone. So I know that it has been not too long since my last newsletter, but I wanted to do a video this month because I just thought that there's no better way for me to explain my time in Guatemala and just the last month or so of just Caroline and I's life and things that we are trying to accomplish, but also just personally me in ministry, what I'm trying to accomplish in just my time in Guatemala. So let's jump in. I went to Guatemala and I went for just a couple of days, really not that long of a time. The best way for me to explain what I learned is in this sentence, that Jesus ultimately is not asking for all of our service, right? He's not asking us to do, but he is asking us to just be, right? To be in him, to focus on him, to look to him, to obey his commands. And so the thing that I took from that week was as far as trying to judge myself on, how good of a Christian I am. The litmus test of how good of a Christian I am is not based upon all the service and things that I do, but it is based upon my obedience to God and his commands and the things he's calling me to do with my life. And so that is probably the best way to explain my week in Guatemala. It was just so eye-opening, or I would say maybe the way I put it in my journal was actually that I wasn't blind, but that my eyes were maybe still a little covered, and my eyes were just opened even more to what God is calling us to as Christians. Is to obey his commands. And so for me, it was convicting time, but it was also a very encouraging time. It was amazing to see all of our students, really fluent in Spanish, just knew Spanish really well. They do class, once a week for 2 hours. And it just seems like everybody is really doing well at learning the language. And then also just seeing them make a plan on going out into the community to pray for people, to meet with people, to ultimately share the gospel and make disciples. And one way that I saw this was that I went out with a group 2 days while I was there. And the first day that we went out, I got to see a group of us go to a family's home where the wife and all of her kids had converted to Christianity. And this group had actually seen her give her life to Christ. And then they started meeting with her in the last, couple of months to just walk with her through what it looks like to be a Christian. They took it as if, now she's a baby in Christ. And so they're trying to teach her the ways of Christ. They're walking with her in kind of a Bible study look each time they meet with her. But the main thing that they're doing with her is they're showing her how to share her testimony of how Jesus changed her life and how she was before Christ and then after Christ. They're showing her a literally written out plan of how you can tell your testimony in like a 2-minute question. The way that it goes is basically they have a thing where they say, all right, what's 2 words to describe before Jesus, 2 words to describe of how you met Jesus, and 2 words to describe after you met Christ. And then the last question that you would do with somebody if you're talking to them about Jesus is you would say, do you have a story like this? And so they share this with her, just a part of basically saying to these women, these men who get saved, like, hey, now you have a duty, as a follower of Christ, to go and share the gospel, go and share your testimony to other people. So they're walking them through that. They're walking them through, hey, here is the story of the gospel, that God made a perfect world for us. But as humans, we rebelled from that and ran to the broken. And now our world is broken. And everybody can agree, right, that in some way or fashion our world is broken. So we ran to the broken, and then ultimately Christ came in, right, to redeem us back to the perfect world. Another thing that they have as a part of this training is that you would ask the question to somebody, hey, do you want to live in the perfect world or do you want to live in the broken? And ultimately, right, our hope is that somebody says, well, man, I really want the perfect. So therefore it leads to conversations of sharing the gospel. So they have this whole plan that they walk anybody who gets saved through this. So that was really convicting, because I was just like, man, am I doing that with my own friends who are already followers? Are we thinking of ways we can share the gospel easily? Am I doing that with people that I'm sharing the gospel with, or that I've talked to Jesus about? Am I, making it clear? And any new Christian, am I helping them follow Jesus? So my time in Guatemala was just super, super amazing, but really convicting on just my personal walk with Jesus. I hope that the things I just said are encouraging to you as well, but also maybe a little convicting. So that was my time in Guatemala. I will share some photos in this video somewhere down here. They'll pop up. So yeah, it was an amazing time. I was so glad though to get back home to Caroline and Ezra. And gosh, as far as Caroline and Ezra and I feel like we are doing really well. I feel like there are some overwhelming and anxious things in life right now, but as a whole, I feel as if that we are, as a family, doing really well. The things we're obviously juggling are just our day-to-day work, right? Caroline with the dance studio, me with Global Year, and then part-time youth pastoring, and then all in that, trying to raise our son Ezra the best, and prepare for number 2 on the way. And so, I think some things that we're anxious about are just buying a house, or looking to maybe rent somewhere bigger, even just trying to, make everything work. Like, what are we going to do with Ezra? Are we going to send him to a little school up in town, for 2 days a week, so that way Caroline can have some peace and quiet, and myself, while the new baby's here? Trying to figure all that out can be a little stressful, can be a little, can give a little anxiety, but overall, we are doing really well. Things are busy, but it's okay. I feel like overall, like our health meter, we're doing good. I would ask just for prayers for Caroline as she continues to go through pregnancy, that just things would be great, that she would feel great, that she would have plenty of energy and strength, but also that she would listen to her body and rest well. For Ezra, that he would just start to just ask that the Holy Spirit would start to really move in him to be ready for another human being to be around. If you know my son, and if you've learned anything about him, he likes the attention. He's a performer, and we love that about him. We love that he's joyful, that he's just more extroverted, but I feel like he could get a little jealous. So just pray for that for him, and just continued health for him too as he grows. For myself, I would just love prayer for staying healthy. I've been working out for the last couple of weeks now. I feel like, honestly, I feel physically better than I ever have. I've been waking up super early, trying to get to the gym, trying to take my eating really serious. And so I just ask for your prayers that I would continue in those disciplines, knowing that those help me physically and spiritually. And ultimately, I think these things have really helped me just be mentally even stronger. And so I just would ask for prayer for that for myself. As far as ministry, I would love some prayers for the Global Year students, that they would just continue to really dig in where they're at and not get too concerned with what's to come. Sometimes students almost forget about what's going on in the field right in front of them, because they've only got a little bit more left of their Global Year, and so they start looking to what's next, and kind of lose focus of what's going on right in front of them. And then for the youth ministry down in Pickens at the Mill Church, I just ask that you would pray for me and our leaders there, that we would just do a really good job of discipling the students we have. We've actually seen a lot of next steps. I think as of 2 weeks ago, we had our 4th student get baptized in just the last couple of weeks. So it's really awesome to celebrate that, but it does mean that we have a responsibility now to help train up these students to be the best disciples they can be. Specifically prayers for this summer, as we're going to be implementing some discipleship training, and then we're going to take a couple of times during the summer to go out and share the gospel, pray for people. We're just going to kind of go out in the community of Pickens and just hopefully walk up to people of peace, people that seem like they would be welcoming to talk. And so just would ask that for me and my team, that we would do our best job to just help disciple young people, that especially as we have a lot of new Christians in our group. So just ask for prayers for that. And then lastly, prayers for Caroline and I, just as far as I shared, buying a house, renting a bigger space. We would really love to not ultimately just find a place that just works, but find a place that God intends us to be at. That it would be clear to us where God is saying, yeah, you should put an offer on this house, or no, you shouldn't, or you should try to look to a rental. And ultimately, us being wise in our finances and the things that we have control over, that we would just ultimately listen to God in all of that. And so thank you for watching this video. I know it's about going close to 11 minutes now, but I hope that it has been encouraging. I hope that it's given you some insight in just to what's been going on. And ultimately, as always, I hope that these are videos that really help you just see that God is working behind you being a partner to me with Global Year, with life. And that I know a lot of times I feel like in life that I'm just throwing seed out all the time, and never seeing the plant grow, never seeing growth. And so I can get discouraged, but I need to be reminded so often in my walk with Jesus that he does just call me to throw the seed, to be a voice, to be loving, to love people, love God with all that I have. And that when I do that, that he will water the seed, that he will make it grow, that he will make it prosper, that I am only to throw the seed out there, and then hopefully, maybe in this life or the life to come, to see it prosper, to see it grow. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Please reach out to me if you have any prayer. I would love to just be praying for you. Know that I am praying for you often. See you guys later.